and gentlemen, I am very excited to talk to you all about one of the most recent scary anime girl video games, at least as of the moment I'm recording this video. If a brand new one comes out or is announced as I'm either recording, editing, or publishing this video, I'd be both very surprised, but also very, very excited. But enough of me talking about a potential future that may or may not happen. Instead, let me talk about a game that psychologically messed with our minds and made us go, that door is locked. Oh! You wanna talk about it? Oh! Oh! And all other sorts of clippable reactions. I'm personally a real big fan of these kinds of video games, as they come around every few years or so and just tend to take the internet by storm, and rightfully so. Even though we know that these games are gonna take us for a horrific psychological ride, we don't know how the game is gonna go about taking us for that horrific psychological ride. So by the time we're taking in the meat and potatoes of this game, we're already hooked and we're ready to go. Doki Literature Club was one of the first games that really put this, for lack of better words, genre into motion. And let me clarify what I mean by that, because I'm not saying that Doki Literature Club was one of the first or the first horrific psychological games that came out. I'm saying with anime girls, Doki Literature Club was the one that put it on the map. But ever since we got Doki Literature Club, we have had a plethora of new games come out throughout over the years. We got games like Needy Streamer Overload, Corpse Factory, and the game we're going to be talking about today, MiSide. Before we're able to jump into the positives and the negatives of this game, I want to real quickly just say that if you guys enjoy this video game review or enjoyed the last video game review, let it be known down below in the comments below. I can't stress this enough. If you guys enjoy these, let me know what about them you enjoy, because I would love to go full force with these video game reviews. So enough of me kissing your ass and telling you to comment down below. Let's jump into the review, starting with the positives. Now, in comparison to some of these other anime girl psychological horror games, MiSide decides to flip the script entirely and give us something new. You see, normally it's going to take place in a visual novel style, where forced to sit still and look at the same PNGs for the whole entire game. We read mountains and mountains and mountains worth of dialogue, and we're going through specific routes that's either going to make or break the game that we're trying to beat. But what MiSide does, instead of doing any of that, is that it allows you to freely walk around, get jump scared, and even solve puzzles at some point, which to me was really refreshing to see, especially considering that ever since Doki, the wave of these psychological horror games that we've gotten have like all been in the visual novel style. And this isn't to say that I'm sick and tired of visual novels or that I don't like them. For God's sakes, anytime I hear your reality, whether it be in a YouTube video, whether it be a cover of it, or whether it be like a little wind up music box version of it, or even if it just plays on my Spotify, that song gives me a feeling that just rushes towards my chest. It's like a fear that I know all too well and I'm very familiar with and I don't like feeling, but it's fused with this beautiful sense of relief and just beauty. I don't know how better to explain it, and I hope that made sense to you, but all of this to say, I do enjoy the visual novel style of these games. When it comes to games like Doki Literature Club or Corpse Factory, you are forced to stay in the position that the game puts you in. So whatever new area you're in, that's all you got. But like I said, in MiSide, you can walk around as freely as you want, meaning that if the game tells you, hey, go to the kitchen, go to the bathroom, you can take your time and do as much crap as you want. You can look at the closet, you can check the chimney, see how the fire is, or anything like that. If you see something that's coming right at you that you don't want to see, your is naturally and instinctively turning around and running away, because you do not want to be like forcefully turned around by whatever it is coming at you and just hear like, oh my God. It's a thrill that gets your adrenaline pumping. And it's something that I personally have never gotten when it comes to visual novel video games, only with video games that take place in a 3D world or are in a 3D environment. You know, while on the topic of 3D games, it's due to the fact that MiSide is made within a 3D engine that it is able to bypass all the limitations that come with visual novels and even 2D pixel art games. To briefly open up the gates gates of comparison. When it comes to games like Yume Nikki and Omori, they do an excellent job at making sure that they can do the most that they can within the limitations that they have set on themselves because they are 2D pixel art games. But even then, limitations are just that. They hold the game back. And taking that step into 3D allows you to do so much more than you were able to do previously with a 2D pixel art game. None of this is to say that I don't enjoy 2D pixel art games. I love Omori. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And I'm not gonna sit here and list off like every single advantage that 3D has over 2D, but just to like list off one, it's a lot easier to quickly change a room or environment that you're in, or even distort it in a 3D game than it is a 2D pixel art game. I mean, sure, you can like real quickly change, like you can change the background by like replacing it with like a different image and stuff like that. But when it comes to distorting, this is the best you're gonna get. And I really don't like having this up on screen. I don't know what this is. And I think that's a baby in a womb. So I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna leave that be and just gonna continue talking about the 3D topic, because another possibility when it comes to 3D games is overall better immersion. Since MiSide takes place within a first-person perspective, the player is given the best opportunity to feel like they're the ones that's actually going through everything that's happening within the game, therefore giving the player the best immersion possible. It's everything that I've said up till this point that also helps the game stand out as much as it does. In fact, it was at this point within the script writing process where I was just kind of sitting here and thinking to myself, man, this whole 3D topic, it genuinely can fit under like the umbrella of standing out. And honestly, I think this next topic could also fit under the standing out umbrella. Can we cut to... This game does something that I've never personally seen another game do. Instead of introducing you to a whole cast of characters that have different designs, different personalities, and all these different traits that make them their own individual character, what this game does instead is reuses and repurposes the one character that everybody knows before they even boot up the game. She's the game's poster. She's the game's desktop icon. Hell, if you were to go to MiSide's Steam page, she is plastered all over it. Ladies and gentlemen, the character that I'm talking about is nobody else other than Mita. As if we couldn't get enough of her before we even booted up the game, they make sure that you get plenty more of her as you play it. We got short-haired Mita, we got sleepy Mita, we got chibi Mita, and best of all, we got Cappy. All these different versions of Mita have different personalities and different traits that make them feel like their own individual character, while also making them feel very familiar because, like I said, before we're even able to boot up the game, we see Mita all over the place. So we're already very well familiar with this figure, this identity as Mita, but we're just kind of changing it up a bit. By going about character creation this way, the developers were able to kill several birds with just one stone. Once you learn that there's more than one version of Mita, you, the player, have this little excitement that's in the back of your head somewhere that's thinking, oh, I wonder what other versions of Mita there are and how many versions of Mita there are. And then as you continue to play the game and you meet all these different versions of Mita and you're a little satisfied with that question in the back of your head, you start to wonder a new question. Why are there so many different versions of Mita? And as you eventually continue to play through the game, you will have that answer given to you. Just as a byproduct of this simple character creation method, they built up not only a little mini goal for the player to look forward to by seeing all the Mita and meeting all the Mita, but they also end up creating a mystery as well. Like I said, they were killing several birds with one stone, and it was genius. Not only was this a very cheeky decision by the developers, but honestly, I think it was the best way to go about character creation in this game because the game's playtime is... As I was saying too before I got cut off by my own video, MiSide isn't that long of a game, like at all, which means that you're probably not going to be spending days at a time dedicating hours to beating it. In all honesty, you're probably gonna beat it within one sitting. But it's due to this fact and everything else that I've said that continues to help MiSide feel like a breath of fresh air. Because look, like I've already established, I do love Doki Doki Literature Club, but if you don't got the drive or the gusto to get to all the good stuff that happens within Doki Doki Literature Club a little bit later on into the game, it's a slog, dude. But MiSide, on the other hand, just gets straight to the point and doesn't waste any of your time. And taking into consideration how basically all social media platforms nowadays have been like adopting this short-term content creation method and have just been frying our attention spans, it really helps to the players that are getting the big side effects of that. Because I mean, sure, if you were gonna play a video game, you were already gonna dedicate at least an hour to it just to play it and make progress. But with the fact that this game is shorter, it helps out a lot because you're making a lot more progress than you would even think you're actually making. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if I recall correctly, based off my memory and by the script, those are all the positives that I have for this game, meaning that it's time to jump into the negatives. Yeah, I'll just say it straight up. I really don't know what to say for this section, so. To be completely honest, I really didn't even want to include negatives into this video because I genuinely have nothing but good things to say about MiSide, as I'm sure you are all well familiar with at this point. But when it came time to give the game a rating, I sat there and thought to myself, okay, if I have nothing but good things to say about it, then why am I not feeling a 10 out of 10? I ended up sitting down and started thinking about this for a good long while. And in the end, I eventually just kind of came to the conclusion that I just enjoyed the game. I had a fun time playing it. I wasn't like floored by the graphics, the insane graphics, the millions of pixels and giga that this game has in order to make it look as good as it does. I wasn't like a crying, sobbing mess at like beautifully written emotional moments, or even astonished by like genius writing. I just had a good time playing the game, and that's about it. For all the reasonings and the positives that I listed off in this video, I can totally understand why MiSide could be someone's potential 10 out of 10. But for me, I'm just gonna give it a nice 8 out of 10. It's not one of my favorite things ever, but it does a lot of things good. Almost everything good. But with that being said, that's gonna be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video game review, comment it down below. Tell me what you guys liked about it specifically. If you guys enjoyed just hearing me ramble about this stuff, or if you guys want more of these, be sure to go ahead and drop a like, subscribe if you're new. And with that being all said and done, my name is Egan Media, and I'm gonna catch you all in the next one. Take it easy.